the 1966 Constitution sets out that in order to qualify for appointment, a senator must be ordinarily resident in Barbados for 12 months prior to the appointment. In the case of Mr. Adams, well known of significant Barbadian pedigree, the son of Tom Adams, he's been resident in Barbados, having relocated here almost 12 months ago. Kay McConney, also a distinguished Barbadian, currently resident in Canada. You may know that Ms. McConney was our Consul General in Canada at one point in time. And she now has to resume residence in Barbados. This therefore means that we will have to make a constitutional amendment so as to provide that in order to be qualified to be a senator, to appoint a senator, you have to be a citizen, which we think is significantly more appropriate than being ordinarily resident. Barbados we exist in a very global community, and Barbadians have served with great distinction across the diaspora and in other parts of the world, and therefore we think that it is important for us to make this amendment so as to be able to allow for all voices to contend and all individuals who have a contribution to make to Barbados to do so. We expect that this amendment will be made on Tuesday. You may have heard by now that Tuesday will be this official opening of Parliament with the throne speech. After that event, Parliament will adjourn until 3 o'clock Tuesday evening so that Parliament in Barbados can facilitate that amendment. The other issue which will also take place on Tuesday evening in that adjourned sitting will be the matter of the amendment to the Constitution to permit the Governor General to make appointments of senators in the way in which the Prime Minister indicated that she would want the Governor General to be able to do. There's perhaps not a raging debate, but there is some disagreement between the legal luminaries as to what the Constitution truly provides, and in that regard we think it unsafe to proceed on the basis of the Constitution as it is presently set out, and we would therefore want to make a specific constitutional provision so as to allow the Governor General to make appointments to the Senate in these circumstances, so that they'll be representative of the political party that will have achieved the most number of votes at the place. After the amendment in relation to the senators, the other two senators designate would then be sworn in, and the Senate is expected to meet in its full complement on Wednesday.
Yeah, you have it.
And that's it.
I wonder if you have any indication if those offers have been accepted.
I certainly have not, but that is not a matter that will be communicated to me. All I know about the stance of the opposition, of the former opposition, is what they say in the press, and that stance appears to be currently divided. So we'll see if there's any less confusion after we actually are able to present to them the opportunity to nominate. I rather suspect they'll probably accept it.
Sorry, go ahead. I just wonder if there's a time frame that they have to.
Well, we want it done with dispatch, and that's why we're moving to make both sets of amendments to the Constitution on Tuesday. Then the Senate would meet on Wednesday, and we anticipate that, if not prior to the Senate sitting on, the logistics of it will have to work out, but certainly we expect that the Governor General will be in a position or clothed with legal authority to do what we're hoping she will very shortly.
Since the Cabinet has met this week, what's your first order of business as Attorney General?
Well, my first order of business as Attorney General probably had little to do with Cabinet meeting at all. Thus far, I've tried to engage various senior individuals in the ministry. You would appreciate that the system of the law courts is perhaps the greatest priority that I have to attend to. In that regard, I've met with Sir Marston Gibson, our Chief Justice, and he and I have had a very in-depth, wide-ranging discussion. The closure of the Supreme Court to facilitate its relocation will take place very shortly, and we anticipate that the actual move will probably start this weekend. The courts will be relocated for hopefully no more than 4 months. 4 months will allow all of the cleaning and the repair the roof of the Supreme Court building to take place, and then hopefully we'll be able to bring the court system back into a reasonable level of accommodation. But the accommodation is only one small issue, and you know, I think that I've spoken repeatedly in the House of Assembly on the issue of the delays in the court system, and I think the Chief Justice and I will work together to ensure that we try to eliminate the backlog and establish a framework for going forward. Part of this would include specialized courts. It would also include additional appointment of judges. The Prime Minister has given me her assurance that the integrity of the justice system is so important to Barbados. She has assured me that I will be able to somehow get the resources needed to do what is necessary to ensure that justice can be delivered to the people of Barbados as they're entitled to.
Do you have a number?
Number of additional judges? I am looking at 3. I think the Prime Minister has given her consent to 3. We now have to look at the costings and so on. While we will need to make long-term provision, there is a provision in the Constitution which would allow the Governor General, in circumstances where the business of the court requires it, to make an appointment of acting judges, so that that appointment could be made without actually having to amend the legislation immediately. And as long as we can, of course, to appoint new judges in the situation where we have a temporary accommodation is impractical. So as soon as we get the officers and the courts operating back in their proper location, I think we'll be in a position to make those appointments then. I'm hopeful that in this 4-month period when the court is relocated, that we'll be able to put all the heavy lifting in place to facilitate the additional appointments.